Today is August 24th, 2023, and this is our 5 o'clock regular work session. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hope everybody's doing well today. We have a full house here, which is good to see. At this time, I would like to invite from our Muslim faith, Sheikh up. I think he's going to introduce our presenter tonight. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, sir.
Good.
Judge, thank you for the opportunity. Today, my name is Ashik Zaman. I am from Islamic Center of Frankfurt. I am representative of Islamic Center of Frankfurt. And today, Qaid Muhammad is going to offer the prayer. He, with his family, migrated to America in August 2021 from Djibouti, a small East African country. He is attending Kentucky State University as a sophomore, hoping to be a chemical engineer one day. His father and mother both works for the state government right now. And other sisters, one sister is attending Kentucky State University, other sister is in Kentucky Frank High School. So with that, Qaid, thank you.
Well, before he begins, I would like to welcome you all to Frankfurt and Franklin County. We're happy to have you, and we're proud of this young man here for giving the blessing today.
Thank you very much. Thank
Mike's
you.
yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Makador Qaid Mahmoud, and I'm about to start the prayer. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most merciful, the beneficent. Surah Al-Fatiha. In the name of God, the infinitely good, the all-merciful. Praise be to God, the Lord of the worlds, the infinitely good, the all-merciful. Master of the day of judgment. Thee we worship, and in Thee we seek help. Guide us upon the straight path, the path of those on whom Thy grace is, not those on whom Thine anger is, nor those who are astray. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. O Allah, nourisher and provider of all things, our protector and shield, defend us from anything that will crush hope in our community. Fill our hearts with confident expectation that good things are on the horizon. May we, individually and collectively, look to You as our ultimate hope and our champion. Give us faith in place of despair and resilience in place of resignation. Turn our anguish and desperation into elation and assurance. Ameen, Ya Allah. Sometimes it seems we are taking one step forward and two steps back. Strengthen our fortitude to keep pressing on, no matter what the obstacles and challenges are. May we be steadfast and unwavering in our prayers for this community and in our practical actions to turn things around. Encourage us, we pray, by showing us ways our work is bearing fruit. We thank You for Your strength. Ameen, Ya Allah. O Allah, allow our leaders to remain accountable to the people. Give them vision and wisdom as they take decisions affecting the affairs of our community, so that they may uphold peace, advance the welfare, and deal kindly and justly with all our community members. Ameen, Ya Allah. O Allah, provide speedy recovery to the sick ones among us. Fulfill the needs of the needy ones among us. You are the ultimate provider. Make our community safe and peaceful for all citizens. Assist our city and county officials in serving the community, especially the police and firefighters. To You we pray. Ameen, Ya Allah. Thank you for the opportunity. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Alrighty, before we get started on our work session tonight, I'd like to take a moment of silence. I think everybody knew Ed Poe. He was a very big influential person in our community. He helped create Frankfurt on race relations. He did a lot of things for this community, and he passed away. His service is on Saturday, so if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to take a moment of silence for Mr. Ed Poe. Alrighty, thank you very much. Moving on to work session now. Is there any public comments? See no public comments. We're going to invite Judy Maddenley from the Health Department to come on up. Hey Judy, how are you doing today?
Thank you. Good. I hope everybody else is doing well. We're just here to present our annual tax resolution. And I'm not sure if Andrew has the report or not. Do we know? If not, did you all get the report, I hope? Okay, I'll wait for him to get it pulled up then.
I did not, I didn't receive the report today, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I apologize for that. Did Fiscal Court receive it, or should I run Andrew my flash drive? It had a green, it looks like I
Yeah,
see
we
it on
have-
Sherry's
we
desk
have
there.
in our
Okay.
packets, yes.
So as long as everybody has it.
Yeah.
I was just showing you in the report that, of course, we based all of our tax resolution off of the 2023 tax assessment worksheet. We completed the DLG, Department for Local Government's compensating tax rate form that calculated a rate of 6.9 for us. You also have a copy of the resolution itself. And you can see on the next two pages how that 6.9% translates to the Board of Health budget. And then on the very last page of your report, how that translates to the Health Department budget, with those local tax receipts being our largest source of revenue and our only source of revenue that is allowed to be used where the community actually needs it. And so with that, I will take any questions you all have.
Thank you, Judy. Any questions from? Pardon?
I understand you all have a renovation project going on out there. It's quite expensive and all inclusive and very much needed. Is this tax rate going to be able to cover those expenses or the payments on the bond, or?
That is a wonderful question. If you look at the Board of Health, the taxing district budget, you'll see that we have budgeted almost $5 million for that project. The architects say it is a gut job. And so anyone that has used the Public Health Center in the past knows how desperately we need those renovations so that our community groups can come back and meet there again. And so our board has been very proactive. We've actually been saving for this for the last 9 years. And so our board will be able to cover the cost of this renovation with the compensating tax rate and not have to take out any kind of loans to get it done.
As far as Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Our hours aren't working today, so,
Okay.
so just letting someone know that.
Andrew, for some reason, the mics
accept
at the
this.
magistrate's desk are not working.
I noticed in the packet that the building renovation was coming in at 4.75 million. So can you talk to us a little bit about what that's going to do?
Of course.
Because that was my question as well.
Well, that is still an estimate. The architect has been hired and they have completed the plans, and here in the next month or so, they will be putting that out for bid for contractors. And so it is still an estimate right now, but that includes complete electrical. You know, all of our electrical needs to go and be upgraded to the newest internet lines. It will include our plumbing problems and issues where our toilets are leaking. It is going to create a state-of-the-art conference room that, again, you know, we have neighborhood groups that used to like to use that room, and we've kind of had to put a stop to that because so many things have been breaking on us. But we will be so excited when this is finished to welcome everyone back to that building and schedule their meetings there. It's going to add more offices where our health department is needing to grow at this point. You know, after the pandemic, we kind of had to lift our staff up some, and so it will allow growth for the health department, putting in all of those extra offices. And it's actually going to even create 3 conference rooms in that building. So if people are looking to have smaller conferences, we would even be able to accommodate little breakout session rooms. And so we really think that the plans the architects have devised will meet the needs of not only us, but all of the community groups. And it has been since '95, since this building has been touched.
So when you say additional staff or program needs, are you planning to expand programs? Are there some new programs on the horizon that maybe the state is devolving down to the local organizations? Or can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because everybody's concerned about public health and
I'm so glad that they are, yes. And so mostly it is an expansion of programs. For instance, our HANDS program for new parents. After attending the community baby shower, we had to start a waiting list for the first time ever, which is a good thing to have so much interest, but we want our families to be served right away. And so just today, we onboarded 3 new staff this morning. And so, they're all going to be going through trainings the next couple of months, but as of now, they are having to cram in and share offices. After the renovation, they will be able to each have their own office space for those private teleconference calls with their families. No problem.
Squire Westman.
Judy, I was going to ask you this at some point, but since you're here,
Yes.
the renovations that are planned for the structure, at any portion, is that looking at the Glens Creek building, will there be any improvements or changes or consolidations, or how is that going to work with your multi-site campus?
And so the Glens Creek Road location is where our clinic is located, our clinic services, and so they're busting at the seams also. So this is going to allow a lot of our business office staff to move over to that public health center and give our clinic more room to spread out. And then that estimated cost does include new furniture for that building also. Anyone that's been to our building, they know all of our furnishings are from surplus, and they're all metal and beaten up, and really do need to be replaced.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Any other questions for Judy?
No COVID questions?
Anything else you want to share with us about the health department since you're here?
I will just say that the new COVID bivalent booster we should have in our hands in September, so coming up very soon. So be on the lookout for that. We will, of course, advertise when we have it and want to keep our community protected. I think everybody knows we've been seeing rising case numbers, so we want to make sure that everybody knows that that new booster is coming.
We're good. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Can I ask one more question? You said that the architects have talked about basically gutting the facility. So will all of the staff roll into the old public? Okay. Can you
We're
talk to
going
us
to
about
cram in.
how that's going to work?
We will be utilizing some telework options. What is giving us some flexibility and peace of mind here is that almost all of the staff at the Public Health Center are what we call field staff. So our health educators, most of the time they're not in the office. They're out in the classrooms, they're at health fairs or churches. Our environmentalists, of course, are out at restaurants and grocery stores all day. And then our hands team that is out doing home visits all day. So we will allow some telework for them. And we have one small conference room at our 100 Glens Creek Road. Squire Tanner is very familiar with that room. It's pretty small, but we feel like we will still be able to cram our staff in there when they need to meet or when the public needs to come in to meet with our environmental team about plan reviews, restaurant openings. There will still be a space to do that. It won't be ideal, but the architect is telling us about 8 months if there is no delays in receiving materials. Like last year it was concrete. So, we're kind of planning for a year probably for renovations.
Squire Westman.
Judge Judy, I suppose while you've brought it up, could you just speak for a moment? We're getting ready to walk into flu season, COVID season. What are some plans and opportunities for the public that may be watching to?
Yes,
take
thank
advantage?
you for that. We should have our flu vaccine in hand also next month in September is when we start getting that. We will definitely plan some community events. Anyone can call our clinic at 564-7647 to make that appointment, but we will plan some drive-throughs. And then for any parents out there, you should be familiar that we will also plan with the schools to go in hopefully before fall break, if not right after fall break, and offer those flu shots to all of the students. And we'll offer the COVID vaccine at that time as well.
Do you anticipate the renovations changing the locations of people very much, or the patterns? Are you thinking that you'll have more of those public outreach opportunities than services at the clinic, or?
And well, during COVID, I think everybody got very familiar with our public health center and the drive-throughs. So, we're very much keeping that garage and doing some upgrades on that also. So maybe our staff can stay a little warmer, while they're giving those shots. But we will very much still be utilizing that building and our clinic. And of course, if anyone is interested, work sites and having us come out to vaccinate your work sites, you can also call us at that clinic number 7647 and we can get that scheduled for you too.
Squire Tanner.
I have one more question. There was some talk about there might be a shot of of COVID and flu and all that together, just one shot, that didn't work.
I remember hearing that last year as well, but I'm not getting any information about that this year. The only thing I have been told is that the new bivalent vaccine will target, COVID vaccine will target the strains that are most prevalent right now. And all the information I've gotten, it will still be a separate shot, which I think there are some bonuses to that. We all know that, the flu shot and the COVID shot can get your immune system really hyperactive to build those antibodies. And so if people chose to get those separately, we would certainly understand that. But we do want them to come back and get both.
I have one comment. A lot of my young life, I grew up in a town called Lafayette, Kentucky. And there's one person here that knows where that is. That's Ken. Besides me.
In Western Kentucky, yeah. Anything else?
All right. Judy, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you all.
All righty. Next, I believe we have the library. I believe Jean's with us. Anybody else? Yeah, I wasn't sure. There was a couple people listed here, so.
Manoj Shankar couldn't join us tonight.
Okay.
This is Carolyn Lynch, our board president, and I'm Jean Rourke, the library director.
Welcome.
And I hope that you received the packet that I sent along too. So I don't have a nice report like Judy did, but you'll see that we are, the board has also approved taking the compensating rate for us, which is lower than it was last year for both property and real property and for tangible tax. So that's what we're planning to do. So.
Okay. How are things going at the library?
They're going great. Yes, we are seeing more people in. We're offering more programs. I just went over our annual report today to get it ready to submit to the Kentucky Department of Library and Archives, and we're showing real progress after the pandemic. So it's
Sure,
pretty
things
exciting.
back to quote unquote normal after?
We're working there. Yeah.
As close as we're going to be to normal, I guess?
Well, we're hoping we can improve those numbers a little bit. We're
Right.
still not seeing as many bodies in the building, but we are seeing a great attendance at the program, and our checkouts are increasing, and our outreach is also increasing. So those are all good things. Yeah.
Great. Any questions from the magistrates?
Okay.
Y'all are off easy tonight.
Yeah.
Good job. Thank you
you.
for being with us, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
All righty, and next is the extension. Two smiling faces right there. How you guys doing?
Doing great. I'm not Adam Leonberger. If
I
you can
know
figure
that.
out.
I know that. I know that. I
I'm the
wasn't-
new kid on the block who's not new to Extension. I'm Carla Carter. I'm the Family Consumer Science Agent and the fiscal contact for Franklin Extension District Board. And I think you know this gentleman beside me.
Yeah, well, I think we all know Sharon. How you doing, Sharon?
For the record, Sharon Jackson, I am the chairperson for the Board of Directors for the local extension board.
Thank you for being with us tonight. Y'all like to go ahead and present?
So we are presenting our 2023 tax rates. The Franklin County Extension District Board had a meeting on August 14th, and they voted to set the tax rates at the compensating rate. Real property was 2.0000, personal property 2.4200, and motor vehicle 1.0000. No tax on aircraft, documented watercraft, or in transit inventory will be collected by Franklin County Extension District Board, as has been in the past.
Any questions from the court?
Our pleasure.
Sharon, that's maybe the easiest you've gotten off.
Sorry, I think somebody needs to ask Carla some questions.
Yeah.
Ask me some questions.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I can just let you all know, we had a record year at 4-H camp. We sent 120 kids. This is the most that we've sent to 4-H camp. Also want to let you know, our homemaker, since I am the FCS agent, that's the AKA the old home economics teacher, our homemakers volunteered 8,960 hours last year, and that would be $255,718.40 impact for the county alone. So just want to let you all know, happy to be here, happy to be a homemaker.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Good. All righty, we'll jump into the judge's report. First, things have been busy as always. I think Andrew has a picture. I just want to, August 11th, Thornhill Learning Center had their annual Spellapalooza. And there's the Franklin County Fiscal Court put a team up. And yeah, it was, they did a very good job. I want to thank Tina and Amy and especially JW Blackburn there, who still says I fibbed to him a little bit. He says, Judge, you said you were going to be on the team. I said, no, JW, I said I would be there. I never said I would be on the team. So,
Sorry, ladies.
so they did a great job, and I know Thornhill raised, I think, close to $14,000. Yeah, it was a big night for them, and a lot of people had fun. So we were glad to participate in that with them. Next on my list is most of you all were at the Governor's Local Issues Conference held in Louisville from August 16th through the 18th. I think we've all learned a little bit up there. There's a lot of information out there and grants and things that can help us. I want to welcome all the Kentucky State University students that are back in. That's an exciting time for Frankfort to see all the kids back in school. I even moved my son into Northern Kentucky University, so time's flying. Next we have the Trash for Cash litter program. So we had the FCHS cheer team. I think JW knows pretty well. Oh, it's a dance team. Okay. I didn't know there was a difference, but that's cool. Yeah, they would probably argue that point. But I want to thank them for their hard work and cleaning up the community and making it a better place, and also the state for offering that incentive program. So I think that's a great thing. On August 16th, Candleberry headquarters had their new ribbon cutting, which is a great thing for Franklin County. It's right there out on Chenault Road. You know, they've been around since 1997. Ernie Fowler's a great guy, and we're very appreciative that they chose to build their new facility in Franklin County, and it's a great thing for us. Hopefully you all saw in the newspaper some exciting news that the Franklin County Fiscal Court, Thornhill Learning, has teamed up with NCFL, a National Center for Family Learning. Also participating right now is the school systems, the independent school and the public schools. There's a picture of us the other day. This is just, we're finally kind of kicking it off, and it's going to be a pilot program pretty much for the United States. It's a really cool thing. It's going to hopefully help families with literacy. You know, Kelly was even talking from Thornhill. Just recently they had a daughter, a mother, and a grandmother all graduate with GEDs. And now since then, the husband and son are also enrolled. So they're doing a national story on it. So we're doing some really cool stuff here. I want to give a lot of thanks to Dr. Felicia Smith. She works for NCFL, and Cherry Bowler. They've really been spearheading this, but we're very appreciative that they came to us to form this team. And since then, Mitzi's been working on a list of about 25 or 30 other members in the community that will be invited to a bigger meeting now. You know, Kentucky State and some other industry people and things like that, to try to kind of, you know, it works together, you know, as far as it circles back to workforce and all different kinds of things. I want to thank Squire Tracy. He's in the picture because he's kind of the one that brought this to us originally. So not only is he a member of the Fiscal Court, but he is on the Thornhill Board of Directors. So I'm going to ask right now if Squire Tracy, you could say a couple words about this great thing that Franklin County is working on.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, court members, for your commitment to the Community Literacy Project. Obviously, we believe this will be transformative for our community. Again, to kind of touch on the other groups, we're looking forward to a launch meeting in late September, I believe, which will bring several other nonprofit organizations and entities together to engage in this effort to establish a family learning system of support. There are organizations now throughout Franklin County doing amazing work that we hope to coordinate with and amplify the efforts. So it's going to be a really good program.
So thank you, Squire Tracy. Next, I think you all know that, you know, Richard Sanford is our new code enforcement officer. So we're looking forward to him getting out in the community and making sure people are doing business the right way. He's still kind of learning the ropes right now, so we're getting everything worked out with that. Next is a really cool thing that the Fiscal Court will be the first annual international festival held on October 14th at Lakeview Park from 4 to 8. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mitzi Jevedin to come up, and she is helping spearhead this project. So please fill the court and anybody watching in on where you all are with this wonderful festival.
Sure. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Court. Alongside Squire Sebastian and several others in the community, such as the Public Library, a lot of nonprofits, community partners, we're all coming together on a planning committee just to kind of talk about what do we want this to look like, and our vision of what we want this to be. And it will be an annual event every year, but what we really want this to be is just a reflection of our community. Our community is diverse. There's lots of ethnicities, nationalities, cultures. We want to highlight that. We want to celebrate that. So we will have lots of food trucks. I've already heard back from several today, so that's exciting. We're going to have a kids zone there with activities provided by Yes Arts, the library, Wanda Joyce Robinson Foundation, as well as some fun things for them to do, jump in the jumpy houses and all the things. And we're going to have entertainment. So this is kind of our ask, is that you go to our website, franklincounty.ky.gov. When you get there, you're going to click on that little icon, the International Festival icon, and there will be a drop-down of a form, a registration form, a sponsorship form. If you would like to be a vendor there, or if you're a business and you just want to share information with the community, you can do that and have a table. There is no charge for that. Basically, that's it. We're looking for performers. We want this to be entertaining and educational. So we already have some fun performances lined up, but if you're interested, please check out our website and sign up, and I will reach out to you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mitzi on the International Festival? Thank you for working on that.
You'll be seeing posters all around town. Thank you.
As I said earlier, Kentucky State University has their Welcome Week this week. Students are back in. We do want to highlight on Saturday, August 26th from 10 to 2, they're doing a health run walk and a health fair. So I think that's going to be a really cool thing for the community and the students. So if anybody's able to attend, please do. Lastly, we need to talk about this heat. You know, it's been a rough week, probably the hottest week of the year. I believe there is some cooling stations set up if need be. I know I think the senior center, I saw that they're set up as a cooling center, and there's some other ones, but you could. Thornhill is also, okay. Andrew, do you have anything to post on that? Do we have anything? Simon House? Perfect.
Yeah, it's all on our Facebook and our website. I don't have a graphic for it, but it's Thornhill, the Simon House, and the Capital City Activity Center for women and men age 50 and older. So, but all that information's on our Facebook and our website.
Okay, thank you. So everybody be safe out there. I think it's supposed to get a little better this weekend, and the next week we're back to hopefully normal. So drink plenty of water. Alrighty, next we're going to invite Stephen Hawksmith to come up and talk a little bit about the road department. How you doing this evening, Stephen?
Evening, Court. Well, the last couple of weeks we've been mow trimming, roadside mowing, chipping yard waste. We finished guardrail spraying. We finished mowing duckers, and we've been doing a little hot mix patching.
Squire Sebastian.
You want to talk to us about the waste tire program that Franklin County can participate in that's going on in Owen County this weekend?
Yeah, Owen County's having
Please.
their tire amnesty starts today, runs through tomorrow and Saturday.
So the way that works, it comes around every 3 years, but anybody in Franklin County that has a valid driver license can go to any of the other counties and participate, correct?
Yes, and I think Shelbyville is having one, I think, in September, I believe.
Okay, that's good. I know that's something we have on, I think, on our website and social media, so that's
Any
good.
limitations to how many you can take? Thanks.
No, as far as I know, you can take all you want.
But not commercial.
No commercial like rubber tires or like tracks from skid steers, you can't take that.
Or even commercial trucks can't haul a bunch in there.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, it has to be unmarked, yeah. Squire, Tracy?
Whereabouts?
Owen County Fairgrounds.
Squire Sebastian?
Just just want to say thank you so much to the road department staff. They've been out in the first district mowing and mow trimming. I've seen it for 5 years. This is the most spectacular work that they have done. I mean, they are able to, and mow trimming things back, brush that's kind of come out over the road on these county roads that make it very difficult for turning radius to see, you know, sight lines. That has been tremendously improved. So I want to thank you and sing your praises from the rooftop. So if I could get up there, if they would let me up there, I'd sing it right now.
Appreciate that. I'll pass
Thank
it
you.
on to the guys.
Please, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Squire Wisdom.
Could you speak a little bit about exactly that, where we are with countywide mow trimming and what areas are next? I've got,
We just
folks
came out of
calling
District
concerned.
4, and we're in District 1 right now, and we're gonna work our way around towards Ball Knob.
Do we have estimation of how much of the county's been covered this summer? Because it's a continuous
say-
thing, and just as a reminder to the public that may be calling or concerned, we're sort of down some equipment and doing the best we can about.
Yeah, we've been broke down quite a bit this year
Yeah.
with that old mow trim, but I'd say maybe a third of the county's done right now. But, you know, just as long, we just keep our fingers crossed that the tractor keeps going. So, we're in District 1, and we'll just work our way around, you know, towards the west side of town and end up in Ball Knob.
Follow-up, do we have any thoughts on what we can do if this piece of equipment breaks down on us entirely and for the rest of the year? We had any discussion on
It's on the agenda.
contractual, or
We're buying a new one.
we're buying it, but last meeting you said
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be 8-9 months getting that piece in, but I'm imagining for the rest of the
Possibility,
year,
yes.
what we can do. I'd like to have some thoughts brought back about if we need to do some contractual mowing or something to finish out the year because of this equipment breakdown.
We don't have an extra one on hand right now, so, you know, and I don't know if we could get one from the state or not. You know, just something we have to just look into if you cross that bridge, if we come to it.
Squire Tanner.
Thanks.
Are there companies that rent those machines?
It's possible, we've never looked into it, just something I have to look at. But-
Pretty specialty thing. I don't think I've ever run across, you know, it's.
Well, there's some that might loan you one to demonstrate it for 6 months.
For a month or
Yeah,
so?
It did take a while, yeah. Yeah.
They used to would do that, but
Yeah.
that was when they were plentiful, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they'd let us have it that long.
Well, a week, that'd help.
But luckily, most of the roads are in fairly decent shape. I mean, they're not terrible. So, you know, hopefully we'll be fine. And hopefully this one will last, you know, till we get there or get a new one in.
You all know how to fix things pretty good.
Yeah, we've got some good mechanics.
So at 3 o'clock today, we had the last bid opening for the road department. There was one bid package that wasn't bid on, so they put it out for rebid. Numbers came in, numbers all in all are looking really good. So we have a couple things, road committee has a couple things to work out, but hopefully we're gonna have that on the next agenda and try to get them a new facility going down there. So we talked to Stephen earlier about what can they be doing right now to get ready for it and cleaning the lot and things like that. So we should all feel pretty good about finally being able to get that project underway after many, many years of getting it kicked down the road. So I'm appreciative of this court finally. Squire Tracy.
Just follow up with that.
I would assume, or Steve, you can speak of, it sounds like once the contract is signed, about 2 weeks. So from now till the middle of third week of September, there'll be a large number of road department employees that will start and begin the cleanup of things that are not
Yes.
needed and so forth. So you may see things taking a little longer to get to because they're doing cleanup for the new building to start.
Any other questions for Steve? All right, thank you very much. I know you got some more items on here. What? Oh, JW, no, I'm sorry, Squire Blackburn.
The yard waste. You get the number.
I got them just for you. It was 14 city, 19 county.
Wow, okay, thank you.
All righty. Any questions on our August 7th meeting minutes? Seeing none, next item is meeting August 10th. Any questions on those meetings? Seeing none. none.
Judge, there was one
Okay.
addition.
Oh, which one? I'm sorry. On the 10th?
On the 10th meeting,
Okay.
I want to be a stickler on it. The back page, the first paragraph, that we voted to surplus that equipment subject to a recording of all of the serial numbers and appropriate identifying numbers. I'd just like to add that language.
Okay. Clerk, did you get that?
Yes.
All righty. Thank you, Squire Westman.
Thanks.
That's a good catch. I know Judy has already talked about the health department stuff. Has anybody thought of any other questions they want to throw at her while she's still here?
I'm ready.
All righty. Seeing none, I believe Mr. Roy Gray is with us tonight. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thanks, thank you.
Yep, welcome tonight. And
Thanks, I don't have anything exciting to talk about, like new tractors or compactors. I'm the friend of the court. We've been doing this since the early 90s. And what we do is enforce, mediate, and monitor child support payments, medical payments between parties who either are divorced, aren't together, parents who aren't together or are divorced. And this is pretty simple, actually. We've always filed motions, hard copy motions, when we're trying to enforce an order, that sort of thing, in the past, but the Supreme Court is going paperless, and the Chief Justice passed a rule that any pleadings or any motions having to do with domestic relations have to be electronically filed. And so you have to set up an account with the administrative office of the courts. I mean, I've got one in my private practice. Max has one or is going to get one. But this is a government, they have a special program for government programs, and it costs $10 a month. And somebody from the county, I've been dealing with Kim on this, needs to just basically authorize, I don't know how it works. I guess it's a direct deposit or something. But anyway, it has to be signed, and I can't sign it. I can't authorize the payment. So I guess I'm here to ask you all to okay whoever is supposed to sign this and submit it to the administrative office of the courts, because we need to have it done quick, because it's supposed to go into effect September the 1st. So that's what, I don't think, Max, you've got a little bit of a reprieve until like October or something like that. But
it actually started August 1, and they will no longer take paper filings in domestic cases past September 1 in our clerk's office. So that's the hard and fast rule. So as of September 1, they will no longer take any kind of paper filings for domestic cases in Franklin
So
County.
I guess what I'm here to tell you all about, and Kim, are you, I don't know, I can't finalize that with the AOC. I guess Kelly or Kim or somebody.
Yeah. So and I appreciate you coming tonight. So the question is, you said it's $10 a month. So
$10 a month.
who pays that? Is that us? Or who pays that fee?
I assume it's the fiscal court. It's not me.
Okay. We pay? Okay. Yeah, it's in. All right.
So anyway, I guess I'm here to ask. I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure.
that's fine. Yeah,
but somebody needs to go ahead and communicate
Somebody
with
needs
the
to sign
AOC.
it. Yep. All righty. Any questions for Mr. Gray? All righty. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, I can be, thank you, thanks a lot, thank you.
All righty. Robert, are you with us? No? He is? All righty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start it if he jumps on. So this is something we've talked about a couple times as far as the Joint City-County Planning Commission number of members. I believe the verbiage now reads that we will have 4 citizen members instead of 5, and the city will be doing the same. And we opted to keep the number of meetings the same, so they will be meeting every 4 weeks. Does anybody have any questions on this agenda item? Go ahead, Tracy.
Maybe it was Squire Blackburn referenced that maybe last year they didn't meet in November or December. Is those months still in for meeting or out?
Our intent is for them to be in, just would have to schedule a different date. Max, is that the way this reads? Because it would say every month, basically. And we plan to have a conversation with them as far as, the mayor and I talked, as far as, just a couple things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Squire Wisdom.
Couple things, Judge. Just a clarification, the city hasn't brought this up yet, right? So our recommendation is going to go to them to vote on, and
The mayor called Deputy Jack today, and it's gonna be on their Monday agenda item.
Okay. Legal question. I have a concern that we don't specify which seat we're taking out. We have some expired, obviously, but we don't specify which seat we're filling by removing one seat. Do we need to, Max, do we need to dictate that somehow within this ordinance change? It doesn't originally say that. The seats were staggered, obviously. It talks about establishing the seats and filling staggered positions. If by diminishing one seat, we're filling the remaining seat for the remaining term, is that applicable, you think, or?
I don't think it would need to be specific as far as which seat we're filling. I mean, I think it was previously discussed in the last meeting that as far as the people who are currently on that commission would remain on that commission. And so I think there's some people whose terms have expired. And so I think by process of elimination, those expired terms would just go ahead and remain expired, and that could be the seat that is replaced. I think the original ordinance talked about, the county can appoint so many, the city can appoint so many. And so it wasn't specific as to, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, this is the fourth one. So I wouldn't think that this would need to be that specific either.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to verify with that change that I was concerned that we needed to be more specific in that. I do like that we are leaving the notices effectively every month, but it's my understanding again that the Planning Commission will have to change that meeting schedule for December and otherwise in their own documents and vote on that themselves, right? But I think we do need to, now that we're here as a public body, and the public can see us, I think we need to be fairly clear that we hope that the Planning Commission will take up a change to meet monthly and more frequently within their committee meetings and otherwise going forward to address community business, which I think is part of the change here, is to help facilitate things to be more expedient and better or more thoroughly reviewed by the community. So often we've had some things tabled because of quorum issues and otherwise. And I wanted to verbally express that as far as this body in our last discussion, we hope that the Planning Commission will take that up to adjust their meeting schedule and be more frequent. So, thank you.
Noted that. Thank you, Squire Wisdom. Squire Tanner.
Well, excuse me, I was going to kind of follow up on what Squire, he's pretty much covered it, but can we mandate that you meet every 30 days? Or not, I guess 30 days is pretty rigid, but once a month, put it that way.
I think in that original ordinance, it speaks about how often they have to meet. And so I think we can say that meet at least so often. Now, they can choose to meet more than that. That would be their choice. And it's calling a special meeting or whatever else. And I think that's what Squire Wisman is somewhat put out a request for. If they're a little heavy on, things needing to come before that commission, they could definitely schedule special meetings.
Squire Sebastian.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. County Attorney. Thank you, Judge. My question is in relation to how this appears on our agenda. Since inside this document, there is no discussion of meeting frequency, do we need to remove that from the language? I'm only asking because what we're focusing on is the number of members. So I'm asking that, I don't know.
Yeah.
The way
You're
the
saying
agenda
like in
item
the voting?
appears.
Yes.
Just asking.
Yes.
Yes, we need to change that?
I think on the first reading it was.
It was, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So we can,
Because it makes,
can be
it's a moot point at this.
Right.
So the wording of the agenda would end with number of members?
yes.
Okay. Ken? Thanks.
Jack saying no because it was advertised as 3 and now we're changing it back.
Is there a motion to change it back? Because I think on the first reading,
So we need to make a motion to
I would
keep it
think.
the same.
I would think, to remove that from the amendment.
So when we
Because
get
it was a
to,
proposed amendment to changing not only the number, but the frequency. So it would need to be a motion to amend to take that portion out regarding
yeah, that's what I'm
the extra
asking.
meter.
So when we
Yes.
get to this portion of the agenda in our voting session, that's what we would do. Okay.
Yep.
I'm just
Thank
trying to
you.
be
Yeah, no, it's
be
good
clear.
clarification, Squire. Yep,
Trying
absolutely.
to be clear.
Yep,
Thank
that
you.
is good. Yep. Robert, do you have anything to add to that? I noticed you popped on. I think we covered it.
Well, I just would like to add that, based on the discussion of the committee of the whole, the ordinance for second reading does take out the non-citizen member element of the membership for appointment.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Yeah, that was something we had talked about. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Clarification with that as well, that was a change since the first reading? Should that be an amendment? I would say yes. Okay.
Judge, if I could, the ordinance as presented at second reading does reflect the changes of the non-citizen members and the frequency. So since, since the frequency is already in the ordinance, the original 1989 ordinance, it was removed from the amended ordinance presented today. But the non-citizen member provision is shown in the ordinance tonight to be stricken.
So you're saying when we make the motion, that needs to be addressed. Is that right?
Mr. County Attorney, I defer to you.
I think to make everything as clean as we possibly can, and so everything's just really clear, it probably wouldn't hurt. I'd rather belt and suspender than only have one, than not have either.
County Attorney, making an amendment or a motion for an amendment to alter to the published document that we have here should be sufficient.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can amend.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Yes, sir, that document was also sent to the city as well.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All righty, moving on, we are going to invite, I believe, Tammy up. Chief, you coming up with her, or is she gonna do all the work tonight?
I'm here for school.
How's Tammy doing today?
Good.
Good.
This is an authorization to apply for the Kentucky American Water Grant for the purchase of hazardous materials spill containment pads. This grant is applied for and awarded annually.
Squire Whistler.
Yeah, thank you, Judge. I'm wondering if this has been an ongoing program. Have we ever received an award from this grant pool before?
We've done it for several, been awarded this grant several years in a row now. I think it's probably 4 or 5 years in a row, if I recall correctly.
At least our term on the court every year.
Yeah, it's an annual grant. It started in 2011 or 12 or so. We applied just about every year.
Terrific. I want to just echo a reminder that how important it is to think about our waterways in this community, and we've had a bourbon spill not too long ago, and we're always looking at potential hazards that is not at the forefront of mind. So thank you for applying for that. And I thought it was one that we had fairly often, but just one point. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, Tammy, you want to move on to the next one, please?
Yes, this is an authorization to receive FEMA funds for the debris cleanup that occurred in response to the weather event on March 3rd. Special thanks to Amy Kurtzinger from the Road Department and Ray Kinney with Emergency Management for pulling together all of the information in order to secure these funds.
Any questions for Tammy on this item?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. So it appears. Thank you for coming, by the way. It appears that, I guess, the county expended or expended about $115,000 right, of our funds internally for cleanup processes, staff time, equipment, et cetera. And what we are able to recoup, I guess, is going to total 86,000. Is that what we were applying for, or is that the maximum that we're eligible to recoup? I just want to understand the distinction.
There's a match.
Okay.
So the 86,000 would be, I think it's 80% of the 115,000.
Thank you. I'm just trying to make sure I understood that. Thank you very much.
Could you just elaborate a little bit about what those expenses were that were eligible for reimbursement effectively through the grant program?
So it was personnel time that was spent doing the cleanup, and then we also rented 2 dumpsters to put the debris in.
And the full 80% was for any expense, or only those elements were eligible?
There were other eligible things, but we didn't have any other costs.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Tammy. Next is Amy. Good evening, Amy.
Good evening.
Okay, so this agenda item is setting our 2023 tax rates for real and personal property, aircraft, watercraft, non-commercial, and the 2024 tax rates for motor vehicle and watercraft. And these are based on the numbers that are provided by PVA and filtered through DLG. DLG computed a compensating rate of 18.1 cents per 100. And the compensating rate generates the same revenue as last year. We are proposing 18.4 cents per 100. This is the same rate as last year, but it will generate the county an additional $228,000. So in your packet, I have the history of the tax rates from 2018 to 2020 is 0.187, 2021 is 0.185, 2022 is 0.185 as well, 2023 is 0.184, and this year's proposed rate is 0.184 as well. And then the final page of your packet also has some great information that has property class totals, homestead exemptions, the number of parcels compared to the past 2 years.
Any questions for Amy on this agenda item? Squire Wisman.
Judge, a few things. I suppose I'd like to maybe just ask the committee what how they came to determine the current rate recommendation, and was that sort of a unanimous decision, or was there any other factors, considering some revenues that we're looking at potentially losing, and some potential for frankly an aging community that have some exemptions, and I'm concerned about our rates, but I suppose I'd start with asking maybe the members of the committee that reviewed.
Anybody want to speak?
Yeah, I'm really confused myself, to be honest, because I'm on that committee and I don't know what happened. We had some really good conversation. I thought we were going to have a conversation with the whole court, and then that didn't happen. So I don't know what's going on. I would love to know myself, to be honest.
So I was in the room as well, and it was a unanimous discussion about keeping the same rate that we kept last year. I did not hear one member speak up and say they wanted an additional rate. Now, you were there, Kelly.
That's not how I remember it at all.
Did you want a different rate?
I wanted a discussion about it. I wanted us to have a conversation about it, is how I remember.
I think the question that came, maybe I misunderstood the question. Did you say?
Generally, I just wanted to see what other considerations, we only were provided, sort of these charts. I'm just wondering generally what the discussion was that led to that rate, considering things like bourbon taxes are going to be fading away over the next 20 years, all
And
those kinds of
we
things.
had really good conversations about that. We had really good conversations, and that was one of the biggies, is that we have to make up for that somehow, and that this is one of the avenues to do that. We also talked about how much more people are paying for food right now. I mean, it's difficult, but I'm just feeling a little confused. So can somebody else that was in the room, Amy, can you tell me what you remember? I would really appreciate it, because I'm feeling confused.
So I presented all of, from the compensating rate up to the 4% increase. And we had that discussion. There was no direction from the end of that finance committee of what rate we were going to go to. And this is the direction that the judge's office gave me for the public hearing notice.
And these are the materials that were presented to us in the committee.
Yes.
So there were no additional volumes or reams of material to review. There was considerable discussion about the, as Kelly indicated, we talked about the cost of things going up. We talked about different revenue streams for the county starting to decrease because of an action of the Kentucky General Assembly, which was lobbied very heavily by a lobbying body. We talked about the cost of other things increasing and how the county would start to begin to address that, knowing that it can't eat that entire elephant. I think that was the comment. That it can't eat that entire element in one sitting.
Right.
And so trying to plan for that.
And also, we talked about, taking the same rate as last year versus going up to that 4% rate only generates an additional $140,000. And I think that's important to remember. It seems like a large jump, but when you look at the revenue, it's only $140,000.
And with the costs, and that's where Kelly's comment came in, her comment was specifically, she said the cost of everything has gone up, especially food. She said we can start at the lowest, I'm going to use these words, they're mine, lowest common denominator, which we all have to have, is food and water. And she said those minimal elements are going up besides everything else. Our bills are going up. So that was the conversation in the round.
Yeah, and I'll just say, obviously I was in the room and we talked about it, and we've talked about this for weeks, is, you're right, Kelly, we talked about everything, and Squire Wisman's point, we're starting to lose the bourbon tax and things like that, and I know there was some talk from the magistrates about going up, but the county has a lot of other things going up. We have the insurance premium tax coming, we have the E911 fee that we're looking at. There's some other things that are going to be coming on that are going to help, I think, with some of those up costs. But again, to Kelly's point, we looked at it one way, that, we need to make sure we have enough money to pay for everything and start planning for the future, because we know that other one tax is going away because of the General Assembly, like Squire Sebastian said. But we also recognize that people are having a hard time paying their bills as it is. So, I thought it was a consensus of the group to keep it the way it was, just like last year, not raise it, and we'll see what happens this year and go from there. And that's Squire Tanner.
I got a couple of comments, if I may. First of all, I'm committed to vote for it because I told the judge that I would, and that's the end of it. But setting a county tax rate is a serious issue, and it will have long-term ramifications, not just this year. Because when you leave money, you can't get it back. House Bill 44 does not let us set our tax rate as what we need each year. When you roll it back, which we didn't, thank goodness it's the same, it's very serious. And yes, we're losing a ton of revenue. The judge has talked about, to me personally, about some of the things that he thinks we got coming up, which is an insurance premium, the city's raised theirs. There's a lot of issues out there. I'm willing to wait and see what happens with those. because you can't lose $800,000 worth of money. The General Assembly took it away from us over 20 years, not this year, we got a couple of years. But then you're going to be in election time, buddy. So you really need to be thinking down the road. Everybody does. I sound like I'm giving a lecture, and I apologize if you accept it that way. Please don't. But it is a serious issue, and it has long-term ramifications. And we have to. You got to look at the big package, as the judge said. And I did tell him I was going to vote for it. No will, unless I drop dead between now and the time they call the roll.
Please don't.
Up yonder.
Cause so many more problems.
Somebody might shoot me. I don't know.
Don't say that. Good Lord.
Yeah. Judge, I guess I was hoping, and I'd heard at one point that we were working towards a meeting of the body to have this discussion before the rate was advertised for. And I hope in the future that we will do that, because I'm concerned, it is $140,000 if we were to go to the maximum, but then you have that compounding effect, right? That next year is based upon the previous year, and the next on that previous year, and so on. But I'm afraid we're digging a bit of a hole financially, and I'm just not sure that we're going to be able to do the improvements that our citizens want and afford our standard operations as our citizens are used to. So I was just looking for a discussion and helping, as a body, we've not had a discussion as a fiscal court at all yet about some additional revenue opportunities and how we're going to fund some of the projects we want to do so desperately. So, this is the first time we've jumped into that. So I just wanted to understand everyone's headspace a little bit more before we went into a final vote. So, thank you.
And I'm going to say,
This is a work session, and here's your opportunity. It sounds like you're ready to raise some taxes and have some ideas about that. I'm eager to hear them right here.
so I'm going to stop there for a minute. I'm going to say that I give full faith in our treasurer. And so Amy does this every single day. And so when the finance committee met and we talked, she had looked at not just the rates that are on there, all different types of things. She looked at other things that are coming the rest of this year, the big picture, this is what she does. And so when her and I had the discussion, I put a lot of faith in our employees here. And I said, what do you want to do? And she said, I think the right move for this year, to see how the new court shakes out, all the other things shake out, is to take the same rate as last year. That's fair to our citizens. We're not raising taxes. We're keeping everything the same. Don't forget, property's gone up, and we will, generate more revenue, even keeping it the same. That was kind of the talk. So as far as I'm concerned, sitting in this seat, I hear what everybody's saying, and I agree. And next year, I think maybe we'll do it a little bit different. But I feel good with where we are, and we'll go from there.
And just to clarify, when I brought this before the Finance Committee, I said, please don't go below this. That was my, it is up to the court to determine if you're going to go higher, but please don't go below this rate. But to speak to, there's a timing issue with this too, and we're learning, but these have to be adopted by September 9th. When we looked at the calendar, this was our last court date, so it was a very quick. So the clerk knows now for next year when we plan, we will try to have a court closer to that date so that it gives us a lot more freedom to have the discussions that need to be had as a whole.
Squire Tracy.
Amy, thank you. Amy, thank you for being with us. Just for clarification purposes, because we've been kind of all over the place. The proposed rate tonight is not an increase.
It's not an increase.
But with keeping it the same, it will bring in additional revenue
That's
compared
correct.
to last year.
Yes.
Thank you.
And just to kind of say what Amy just said again, this kind of came up on us fast. There was a deadline. I'm new in this position. She's new in that position. We're still trying to figure it out. So, I think we will have more time next year to meet as a group to talk about it and go from there. But I know I feel good, and I feel good for the citizens of Franklin County for the rate that we are proposing tonight. Squire Tracy.
Judge, thanks. With that being said, and I think all magistrates, and I know you as well, and probably you too, I know one thing that we've done is had talks with the PBA about making sure assessments are consistent and as close to being correct as possible. So hopefully when that conversation takes place, she will be invited into the room and be a part of those.
No, I agree. And just to share with everybody, one of the things when I sat down with the PVA is, you know, there's some information that even our planning and zoning collects that she wasn't getting. And so we've done a good job in the last couple of months of hooking them together. And there's some simple things that can be done, like when somebody fills a form out, they can put some information on there that is going to help the PVA hands down. And so the PVA have been doing a lot of homework trying to figure out, let's say, what an addition cost or whatever, how to revalue a home, and that's why things have been inconsistent. So I think getting the two agencies working together on a simple added a line on a form that people fill out anyways. So I think it's just an ongoing process that we're trying to improve on that will hopefully make everybody equal. So, yeah. That's why
I commend what you said just there. You know, that is the duty of this fiscal court, right, is to continually evaluate. And like I was saying, this is the first time we've got to do that as a body. I just wanted us to have some discussion about where we were. And I know Amy and I had talked about not dropping below that rate for concerns about meeting our minimums. So I wanted to hear just some of the committee's thought process and this body's thought process, not to question our staff or anyone. I love what Amy's doing. I think we're in a great shape for regularly reviewing our financials. But again, this is our one time of year to sort of think about what can we tweak and how can we provide better services. So I just appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the purpose of a work session. I appreciate everybody's input. You know, it's all important, and I believe in the next couple of years, this court's only going to get stronger and better. You know, so we're just trying to keep things moving and not get in trouble right now, and turn things in when they're due. And so that's we're learning. Go ahead, Squire Tanner.
I got one more question for Amy. And I did know from past experience that there is a deadline we have to pass that. Is it always September the 9th?
I believe so.
I thought it was September, but I didn't, because it has to be printed and put on the bills that go out from the sheriff, and I don't know how that works together, but I knew that it was a deadline, and I thought it was in September, but when you've already all said, we need to keep in our minds that it's when it is, and get started earlier or something.
Yeah,
but you have to wait on people to give you the rates too, which is not.
You do. They come the very last of July. So,
yes, they don't,
it's quick.
DLG drags around, I won't say drags around, but not in a big hurry.
You said it, not us. No, but I agree, Squire Tanner. And now, you know, Kim knows to have it on the calendar for next year, and like I said, we're all figuring this out, so. Alrighty, that's a great conversation. Thank everybody very much. Amy, would you like to go ahead to the next one?
The next resolution is for the insurance capital and bank deposits. I'd like to speak to the bank deposits first. We are taking the maximum 0.025 on the bank deposits. And that's a franchise tax on financial institutions measured by the deposits located in our county. Last year we collected around $219,000. And then
Before you
moving
move on, I just want to say, is that the same rate as last year?
It is.
Thank you. Okay.
And moving on to the insurance capital rate of 0.106 per $100. Again, this is another KRS ruling that we can impose a tax. Now, the maximum that we can impose here is 0.15 on $100 taxable capital of domestic life insurance companies within our county. And you have a chart in your packet that sort of shows the tax revenue, the history, and this year's estimates. The certified assessment that came from the state is $71,708,693. And as you can see from that chart, the rate has been all over the place, but so has the assessment. In 2022, the rate was determined by increasing the county revenue by 4%. So I followed that same, adding 4%, and that's how I came up with that rate.
So keeping the exact same rate for the loss of that
Yes. Because there's that difference in the assessment. It's almost half.
Yeah. That only affects one entity here in Franklin
Yes.
County.
Squire Westman.
Judge, I suppose maybe a couple of you members from the last court, did anyone talk to the change from 2020 to 2021 that's in that chart? Or Amy, did you have any information on, there was a significant drop
And the rate,
at that point in time?
so in 2020,
How
it
did
was,
that affect
it was .15, and it did drop to .05, and that was at the request of that entity because their assessment had doubled.
Okay. I wondered if there was something related to that. Do you have any information about how we're comparable to other communities?
I
Or
don't.
even the city? Okay.
To the city, we are very close.
Squire Westman, I believe, and anybody can jump in, I believe the change of the money from that assessment was because the company had been bought out or something like that. There were some things that happened to it over those couple of years.
There was,
Yeah.
I read that in the meeting.
That's right, you did. Yep. So, Squire Tanner.
Is there only one life insurance company in Franklin County?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Amy, next one, treasurer's report.
So in your court packet, the monthly summary, I updated that today, and I left it on your desk. And it should be one in the upper right-hand corner. It says updated August 24th. And the difference is only the one that's from your packet and the one that I left you today is the column that says capital debt service, and I recorded the bond proceeds. So that's the only difference. So for the 1 month ending, July 31st, the receipts are $12,889,449. Expenses, $3,191,050. Those receipts are inflated due to the bond proceeds of $10,359,943. Leaving when you add in the fund balance of June 30th, our fund balance as of July 31st is $30,933,845. And does anybody have a question about the bond proceeds? Okay, I'll move on to your revenue and expenses. I do want to point out on your revenue report, page 4, we had our second settlement for opioid of $26,511.24. That brings the balance of that fund to $231,558. And then also we received our second payment for that LATCF grant, which is the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund. That brings that balance to $100,000, and that is federal money. The second one, on down under Fund 84, the American Rescue Plan Act, the second line, the LATCF, that additional 50. And I will be amending these into our budget and then just putting them in contingency. And you'll probably see that in the next court.
Any questions on the treasurer's report? Amy, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, I'm gonna ask Stephen to come back up. Looks like you have a couple items here.
Yes, we'd like to get approval to reject the bid for the mow trim that we got in a few weeks ago, and we'd like to re-advertise that. And the reason is for that is because the specs that we had on the ones we got the bids in a couple weeks ago was a 22-foot boom mower, and we had our mechanics go to Anderson County Road Department and look at their machine, similar to the one we're looking at, and they tried it out, used it on the roadside. It had a 18-foot boom mower on it, and they said that was the perfect size, and they thought a 22 would cause too much stress on the tractor. So we'd like to re-advertise for that. Is there any questions on that? Okay, and the next one, we'd like to get approval to authorize to Jay Edinger for upfitting our F-450 Ford truck that we already have. They were the lowest ones on the bid. Yes, a lot. They've done probably, I'd say 90% of all of our stuff in the past.
Squire, Tracy.
When you say 90%, are you talking snow equipment, or are you talking the bed? What are we?
Yeah, the bed and snow equipment's usually all in the package. Yeah.
And I might have asked you this, or the deputy, are we advertising for a specific brand of bed, or are we going by specs off of the bed?
I don't have that information with me. John wrote it up, and I didn't bring it with me today.
Okay. It just, if we're going off specific brands, it just seems like we may be limiting ourselves. I mean, the spec is truly what you're looking for. If it meets the specs to it, then they would all be the same, but just food for thought in the future.
Okay.
Squire Sebastian.
That's good. I just wanted to check, how long does it typically take once we take the chassis up there?
It depends on how many's in front of us at the time. It could be as fast as maybe 2 months, or it could even be 5 months.
Okay. I was just worried about the
snow and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I mean,
just never know.
That's a 4-letter word that we're not ready for right now because it's hot, but 5 months from now, that's why I'm just a little concerned about the lifetime.
Yeah.
But I'm happy it's close.
Right.
Louisville's not that hard to get to.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
This
Squire.
equipment that we're probably authorizing today is not years down the road or 6 months. I mean, it's closer than that. Or they have it in stock, do you know?
Are you talking for the truck equipment?
Yeah.
The snow equipment? No, they'll have that in stock. It just depends on how many trucks are ahead of us, getting it upfitted. Yeah.
Y'all can't install it? Y'all bid it installed though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right, Stephen, next.
All right, we'd like approval to advertise for sealed bids for a trommel screener and a conveyor. This would be used at the compost facility, and this is for screening, and it would screen the bones away from the compost and also rocks. And this would be purchased with grant funds that Brittany applied for, and we've already got those funds in hand.
Yeah, we went over, and Brittany was still here. We took a road trip over to Winchester, I believe. They have one similar, and it makes a big difference on the finished product with the compost.
Speeds it up, clean.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Squire, Tracy.
Knowing the amount of compost and wood chippings we have on the hill, do you foresee giveaways?
I'm not as much giveaway as I am charging. I mean, those things cost a lot of money to produce, so I think that's something that the committee is going to talk about maybe in our next committee meeting as far as how we handle things like that. I mean, as much as we do for our community and stuff, I think there becomes a fine line that, we're paying all the equipment, the manpower, women power, whatever, and just, I think it would be, discounted from a regular thing, but I think it's an opportunity for the road department to try to make a little money back, and still think it'd be a good thing for the community. We've talked about a couple other things. We've talked about inmates bagging stuff up and, selling it at the farmer's market, things like that. So it's still being talked about, I believe. And now that we have a new solid waste coordinator, I think it's the perfect time to get her working on, her thoughts on it too. And, getting up there and seeing how much material we have and things like that. But I believe it's quite a bit. Squire Tanner.
Just a general question, would any of that compost have to be treated? Or just like it is?
Just like it is.
There's no
Rudy
requirement
used to
for
have
it to
it
be
tested.
treated?
Yeah, I know they take, as it's composting and things like that, it's a pretty big process, and they have to take, bless you, they take temperature of it and things like that so they can stay within certain rates. That's monitored by the state, I believe. So, yeah, it's pure stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got some fertilizer.
Yeah,
sure it does.
Yeah.
Squire Wisman, do you have your hand up?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Squire Tanner. It's not an organic quality material, right? There's contamination issues, so there is some testing, but it's sort of an understanding if you take it and use it, which we probably need to think about some disclaimer putting with it. But I don't think we actually got a formal notice to the full court that we were awarded that grant. I know it was sort of said in passing.
I think Brittany did when she was still here.
Did we?
If
I don't remember offhand. I just remember hearing it. But
no, she didn't.
Was
I apologize then. Yeah.
Was there do we expect that will cover the full cost, or is there a match? I don't remember if there is a percentage that we're going to be.
In-kind match on that grant, which labor will take care of. So the court shouldn't have to put additional funding.
Great. Thanks.
Stephen, thank you.
All right, thanks.
You've been up there a while. You look comfortable now. I mean, you're getting the hang of it. I mean, leaning on it. He's gonna hang out for a while. Next, I believe, is on me for the board appointment for the planning commission. So I am saying Russ Wright has come off, and I am recommending Reed Mills to take his position. Reed is a great guy. He's a business owner. He's a hardworking, very educated person that I think would do a very good job in representing us on the commission. Anybody have any questions?
Is Sanford still on that board? Who's on the board?
Currently, Sanderson. Yeah, Daryl Sanderson and Charles Stewart are currently on as representatives of Franklin County. Reed Mill will join them, and I am working on one other that will hopefully be on next court agenda.
It's your appointment. I was
Nomination.
And I've reached out, the planning and zoning is a big committee to be on, and it's a lot going on there. And I think I've reached out to, anybody I can as far as if you have names and people that want to talk to me about it and stuff. It's a commitment, but he actually came to me wanting to serve. We sat down in my office and talked for about an hour. I wanted to kind of see where he was with everything as far as growth, preservation, things like that. Very level-headed. And I think he would do a very good job on this board.
Judge, thank you. It is difficult to find people for these positions, so if anyone's interested, I hope they'll reach out to you. I'm realizing, as I've been trying to find folks too, how limited in some capacities our community's talent pool is in the realm of planning, right? So I'm wondering if we can, I don't necessarily want to make a board appointment contingent upon a training requirement, but I'm wondering if we can go ahead and immediately for this and some others that we're going to need to fill, come up with some additional training opportunities or set aside some amount of budget to allow these folks to go find some trainings. There's Keiko's offering a full 8-hour day in October. I know that this is good timing for that, but I guess the request is maybe to you in your office to come up with something that we could do maybe before the end of the year, because we have a lot of people getting ready to go on to that board to fill vacancies, that I'm concerned that we're going to throw them on without adequate training, without adequate time to train or resources to find that training. I know some members in the past have expressed interest and willingness to go do some training opportunities, and there was not really funding set aside or available or a mechanism to be able to allow them to do that. The court obviously pays for our own appointments generally. That CAECO training will be a good one. I would like to ask you to ask Mr. Mills if he would attend that one, obviously.
Sure, he
rather
would.
than not making it contingent, but
Yeah,
I would like
understandable.
to-
No, I think that's a great thing and more. And I noticed Mr. Hewitt just popped on, so Robert, would you like to speak on that?
Yes, sir. The Planning Commission in their budget provides funding for training of all members. KRS Chapter 100
requires 8 hours of training every 2 years for planning commission members. I always orient each new member with a 1-hour session with all code sections. And so, but I do support Squire Wisman in additional training. Planning and zoning can be very foggy, but I support his request for additional funding for more training. It's a good thing. So I hope the court considers it.
Okay, that sounds good, and I appreciate that, and I'll talk to him, and I'm trying to set up meetings with our 2 existing members also, just to kind of talk to them and see how things are going and see if they would like any additional, training. So I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
A couple of years ago, we brought in a group called CAMP, and it was more directed toward historic preservation intricacies, but there's so many intricacies in planning and zoning. Kind of what I have in mind is trying to find something that can come in with some real professionals and do, most of a week or something, some hands-on training, and maybe not all within 1 week, but, there's a lot to get up to speed on, and, our manual is that thick. A cursory introduction is not enough, and we're going to have a whole lot of people here that are going to be new to the board that are going to be in the weeds very quickly. So, thank you.
Understandable. Yep, thank you. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Squire? Yes, yes.
You say we brought them on, was that, what body was that? So that might be helpful to know what other collaborative resources are available.
Sorry, that was the city effectively, the Architectural Review Board in its own capacity did that training that I went to and attended as just a citizen sort of at that point in time. But I know that there are other professional groups, organization planning groups across the country that provide those intensive trainings that can be tailored towards certain parameters that are unique to your community, maybe watersheds and runoff and topography issues might be something really unique to our community that some group has some specific training available, and not to mention just regular parliamentary procedure and sort of how you run those meetings would be good for folks to understand too, right?
Robert?
Yes, I would just like to echo Squire Wisman. This is an opportunity
For us to coordinate with the city to provide additional training. He's correct, whether it's historic preservation, stormwater management, site development, general rules of procedure. He's exactly correct. I mean, he hit the nail on the head, and I strongly recommend that the court move forward with this. The Planning Commission has a major economic impact on this community. So the more educated they are, the better this community can be, whether it's, denying something that's not right or approving something that is. They have to be educated and trained. I support his statements 100%.
Well, Robert, I know you're working on some other things as far as maybe some recommendations that we can take to P&Z. So if you could maybe jot that down, so when we get to that point in our discussions that we could bring that up and maybe they could offer some additional training.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, good conversations here. Next, Kim, payment of claims. Does anybody have any question on payment of claims? Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge.
Sorry, I was zoning out there for a minute.
It's okay. Under the jail fund, the court bills, so we all know that's an 03 account 5101. The important numbers at the end are 343 for medical services. So this is, indicates it's medical expense overage cost pool. So is this the regular payment to the cost pool, or is this in addition to the cost pool? The reason I ask that is during our budget discussions, we had a very extensive conversation about the cost pool having an adequate amount in it, and I think the jailer said we won't be going over that. So I'm just trying to see where we're landing based on that conversation we had just about a month ago.
I questioned the jail about that, and they said it was the hospital and doctor bills that get processed. They sent them out for repricing, and it took some quite time for them to get back.
Okay, so these are additional costs above the cost pool that they are trying to send back through the billing process. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's kind of how I'm understanding it, right?
Yes.
Okay. But in the meantime, we have to pay the bill, right? Or that's, I guess, our discussion here tonight is, do we pay that? Do we pay the bill? Knowing that it's been sent back through the medical process. I'm asking.
They did the rebilling, and then they billed us after it was all approved.
So are you saying
So
this
it's
is the
been-
new number? It's already been rebuilt?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the new numbers.
This is the new number,
Yes.
but this isn't included in the original bid? This is above and beyond? Because I'd like clarification.
They just, the jail said they just sent them out for repricing, and it's always been taking quite some time on the hospital and doctor bills.
I'm still lost. Kelly, I got the confusion now.
So to answer your question, it is an overage of the cost pool. You know, Kim's right when she looked into it, because we looked into it because of the dates. She brought it to me and she said, these are old. But it's the process of insurance, you know how long it takes.
I do, absolutely.
You know, for them to get it to the insurance company, could take 30 days, and then the insurance company. But to answer your question, yes, this is an overage.
So,
Okay.
if I could, is this,
Please.
I'm really confused. Good question. So, is this coming from prior us setting the new budget?
There you go.
Is this like old? Kim, do you know what the
It
dates
would
were on
be,
this?
Yes, some of these were up to a year old.
So that's what it sounds like to me. I'm
That
hearing
makes more sense now. I
Exactly.
think to Squire Sebastian's point, we want to make sure we just started a new budget that there's not already overages. So this is last fiscal year, basically,
Yes.
we're playing catch up.
Do you remember what the most recent date was? I can't remember right off. I have to pull it out and look real quick.
Do we have anything in place in regards to bills must be turned in X amount of days? I mean, you're looking 12 months. Were they not turned in, were they not turned in deliberately because of the overage from last year? And they didn't want to just add to that? Or was they misplaced? Or is there anything that we have in place that can protect us from receiving bills that truly no one can explain other than, oops, it's a year old, and we're just getting it to you? If not, I think we need to look at doing something like that.
Max,
30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Mr. State?
But a year is just ridiculous.
Well, this is a current bill. It's just the insurance processing, but from West Kentucky Correctional. It is current. It just happens that those claims are old because it took a while for them to get through that entire process of billing through the from the doctor to the insurance to West Kentucky Correctional.
But I think to Squire Tracy's point, we want to make sure, I think he's being mindful that Franklin County does its part as expeditiously as possible, because we know there are other processes that have to wind through outside of our control, so that we don't So there's not a habit of bills from maybe last fiscal year showing up in a current fiscal year budget? Am I saying that?
Yeah, absolutely, that are unexpected, that aren't
Yep.
budgeted, because if you're looking at the number, we're about 7-8% already over on that line item.
Yep.
And again, that's not the only line item that's over, but
Well, you know,
being here on the, that is being here, that's one consistent line item that's been over every year, because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to pay that health, and we can't get out of it, so.
I think we would need to hold that vendor accountable for getting us the bills in a quicker manner. Whether they can, because it is dealing with doctors' insurance, I don't know.
Right, well, just communication, hey, we've got this bill at this amount.
But during the budget discussion in the finance committee, this was a large point of discussion.
Well, and I'm looking at it too, not just this person, but anyone that has a contract with us. And I'm not saying everybody do this purposely, but keep in mind, like Squire Sebastian has said, when we get into a finance committee, we're looking at contracts, or they come to the court, and we don't have bills that maybe they went over a bunch last year, that's really gonna change the bid process for me, you know what I mean? Because we don't have all the information. So, I don't know, Max, is there anything we can do, like to say bills are due within a certain amount of time, or anything over?
I believe the law says you gotta pay them in 30 days once you get it.
Right, but
The
I mean,
state's not mandated to do that, but we are, the county
right,
are.
but can somebody send us a bill if it's over a year old, say?
Yeah,
Well,
I agree, I
Judge,
understand that, that's the other side, but
I bill insurance every single day of my life.
Yeah.
And there should be absolutely no reason that there is anything out for a year. There's just no reason.
I think that's everybody's point.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I think
I mean,
everybody's trying to say that in a nice way.
Yeah, well, I mean, seriously, I have to rebill things all the time. I've never had anything take a year, so there's something else
Mr. County Attorney, is
going
there
on.
anything we can do
besides that.
on our end to say, if, you know, if we send something out to all of our vendors, or especially people we have contracts with, that if we receive a bill that's over X months or something like that, that we're not required to pay?
It can be built into the contracts. I mean, the contracts that we sign with these vendors, it can be built in as a term of that, you know, within so many days of service or processing of the service that they be provided. I mean, that's
So when
I'd love to see
we
that
work on the
contract.
contracts next year, that's something that we could put in all the verbiage, basically, or any contracts that come before us.
Yeah.
Judge Willis.
So many days after the service is provided, the bill will be sent. If it's sent after a certain time, it will be paid, something along those lines. No, that's all contracts.
Okay, Squire Westman.
I was going to bring it up under our new business, but in my 7-8 months here, there seems to be every meeting that we're hit by a bit of a surprise from the jail. And I'm gravely concerned that our jailer's stepping down in 1 week from today. I was going to ask under new business, but I wonder if we can ask our acting sheriff's department to work in the next week to do a bit of an audit of the financials of the jail. I'm not exactly sure how that would work and who would be involved, but I would like to know what's outstanding, what is coming at us. Is there other sizable amounts laying out there? What's being handed off? You know, I'd like to get some kind of idea of current position.
Yep.
As well, I was going to ask, and it seems appropriate to go ahead and say it here instead of new business, that I would like to take a moment, a pause, to review all the contracts that are applicable to the jail at the moment. You know, we can edit, I would think, most any of those at any point in time with that 30-day clause that's usually in almost every contract. But I think it's maybe apt timing that we take a really hard look at the financials and the contractual obligations at the jail. And
I'll let you know, it appears that the jailer has already left. The sheriff's department has taken it over. Roy is there full-time with some other people. We have talked about an audit. Jack has talked to a company about that. The sheriff has already talked to a company to come in and do an audit of all the inventory, weapons, evidence, anything that's in that jail. So I can assure you it's a daily conversation we're trying to get a hold of. There's a lot of moving parts there. There's some things that have been broken for many years that the sheriff and his staff are trying to get fixed. and some things like that for safety reasons. So we're working on it almost daily. We're on the same page.
Glad to hear that. Yeah, a lot of concerns about what is going to fall through the gaps in the consistency in this transition, so.
So far, it's going well. I believe the jailer was there for a couple of days with him to kind of go over some things and make sure the transition was smooth. And so we feel good now, and we're kind of under control and moving in the right direction. Correct, Tracy?
Just to touch on something you said, so if I understand this correctly, Sheriff Quire, Chief Deputy Depp, and Ron Wyatt.
Correct.
Is now managing, running the jail. Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll just say publicly that I appreciate them helping us out with that. You know, put us in a little bit of a spot having a jailer retire after 8 months. So I appreciate the sheriff and his team stepping in. Ron worked there for 5 years previously. He has a good rapport with most of the staff that's there. That was, seamless. So it's a good thing. So we're trying to get things figured out right now. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. I still have one additional question in regard to the jail bills. But let me circle back and ensure I know how we're going to handle this item. Is the mood of the court to pay this bill or to hold this bill kind of in abatement for a period of time till we understand what's going on with it? I don't know what we're doing. I want to ask.
For me, just hearing what we've talked about, what Max has talked about, I don't know how we wouldn't legally pay it because there's nothing in the contract currently that says they can't bill us. So I think if we don't pay it, then we'll not be in compliance.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure we
I
close the loop
appreciate
on
it.
it.
Yeah, that's where I am. But if anybody else has any other thoughts, I'm all ears.
You might, I'm not saying, because Max is the county attorney, not me, but could you not ask them for documentation of what we owe for? It might have been in the bill, I don't know.
Sounds like, Kim, did they send that?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so she has that. Yeah, she doesn't have it with her right now. Yeah. Okay, you had another one?
Yes, sir. On page 2, of course, it's an 03, 5101. And the last item, the last three numbers are 4, 8, and 1, has to do with uniforms. So typically in our bills, when we have uniform expenses, they're attributed to a specific staff resource. And I can't recall ever seeing an expense like this in the bill where it just lump sum says pants for staff. So who can advise what this is for and how it's presented this far? I mean, and Kim, I hate to ask.
I'll just say real quick, because I know very little about it, but I will say the sheriff, and I don't know why it's listed like this, whatever, but I do know one of the first things the sheriff noticed was the staff in the jail was wearing all different types of pants, jeans, and so it was very important to the interim jailer that everybody be in uniform and look respectable and things like that. So I do know, I've had a conversation with the sheriff about pants and things like that, but as far as what they did and how they bought them and things, Kim might be able to speak on. I don't know.
I know sometimes they'll have a stock supply of pants in their storage where they have such a high turnover.
I mean, when we look through the bills, it always says uniforms for Sebastian or uniforms
Right.
for Blackburn.
Typically, it's road department and fire. I don't know if I've ever seen uniforms in the jail that
We
I.
have.
Okay, we
We've
have,
had
yeah.
uniforms there
Yeah.
because of the turnover. And if you recall during the budget, I asked what happens with that, especially if
Yeah.
someone comes in and stays for a week, what happens with the uniforms?
Yeah.
And our jailer said, we don't hang on to used uniforms.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
That conversation happened in fire.
Absolutely. So I guess my gut feeling is they went and bought a ton of pants of a bunch of different sizes and got everybody in uniform overnight. I mean, we can inquire with the sheriff about that, and I'll get back to you on that, because I don't know the answer, but just having listened to him and what I know, I could see that happening.
Okay.
Everybody tell me your sizes, we're going to the store. You know?
And I will just add to that I think they're trying very hard to raise morale a little bit so they don't lose the rest of the jail.
Yeah.
And they're doing a really good job of it, I think. So this may just be part of that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for saying that, Squire. All right, any other questions for Kim?
Nothing, Kim.
Okay, do we have anything before we go into closed session?
I do it on the other, but while we have, maybe now is appropriate time, if I'm out of order, just say so. We opened the door to talk about the jail here a little bit, and everybody here knows we put $2.7 million a year into support the jail, which is a sizable amount of money. I don't even know how many people work out there. Maybe everybody else in here does, but I don't. I don't know how many captains they got or how they break it down, lieutenants or just deputy jailers. Is there any way to get all that kind of information so at least we know at least I know. Maybe everybody else here does, but I don't.
I think it's a great idea, especially with everything going on. Why don't we invite them to our next court meeting?
Whenever it would be appropriate, they haven't been there very long, but.
Right, but I think by the 12th, they'll be in pretty good shape and know where they're going. And I think maybe between the sheriff and the acting jailer, they can kind of give us an update, kind of tell us where they are. And
I wear size 38 pants and they.
Thank you for to bring you pants.
Alrighty. Everybody good with payment claims? Everybody's good there? Alrighty. Do I have a motion, authorization to go into closed session per KRS 61.8101 CF, discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the public agency, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are in closed session.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. We're in open session. Any questions on the new hire for the co-op student? Seeing none. Other business. Does anybody have any other business?
Yes.
Squire Dykes.
I would like to make a motion to establish a committee for the opioid money effective immediately, please. I've got everything I need for it now.
I'll second that, and I would like to serve on it.
All right, discussion?
So we're gonna vote on it now, or you gonna vote it on the, when we get into the,
We'll have to do it when we get into,
Yep.
pardon?
we'll have to do it when we get into the court.
When we get into the voting session,
Unless the judge
What
decides
is the
to handle
procedure?
it like he handled every other committee.
What's that?
I guess unless you decide you're gonna handle it like you handled every other committee.
Right.
Unusual to handle one differently.
So,
I don't care how it's handled, I just want to go along with it.
okay.
Tried it 3 times now, so I don't know how else to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, and I know we need to.
I know
get
you're
this.
busy and you've done it, you're doing 100 other things.
Yeah, no, but it is important. We have talked about this, so let me get this figured out, and I promise I will get back to you all, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Judge, we have a formal action though, first and a second. We have to either take a vote or rescind those. I'd like us to go ahead
We
and establish it as an action by this court.
Do it either, you can do it any way you want to do it, however you're comfortable. I just really do want to get on with it. And I don't know how else to make it happen.
What's the will of the court? I mean, I personally like to think about this for a minute, because this is a big deal, committee to put together, and I also want to think about who else, other than just a couple of people from the court, that need to be on it. And I don't have that answer right now.
I've got some ideas about that I'd
Yeah.
like to discuss.
But I'd rather
if we
kind of
can.
get it all figured out before we move forward with it.
That's fine. I'll rescind it if that makes it
Yeah.
easier, if you
No, that'd be,
promise
and
that
I
you're
promise,
involved
yeah.
with it. I'm just, I'm holding your head underwater.
No, no, we know, this is a hot topic, so we need to get going on it. I think we're fine to that point. Go ahead, Scott.
in other business here, in relation to that, KMCA is hosting this opioid
Yep.
training program for 3 or 4 hours on the 30th,
I
which
go to
I've signed
all
up
of them.
for. And,
I've been to all of them.
I'm sure you have, but if anybody would be interested in knowing how that funding, what you can spend the money on, all that thing, you can tune into that. Cost you $30 and get an hour of training.
Amy, are you signed up for that?
Is that one that I asked for? I think it was.
It's 3 different ones, and I've signed up for all, even maybe more than that, but I signed up for 3.
I'll make sure that.
All in one day.
Okay. All right, anything else in other business?
Can we talk about movie night since the date's been set?
Absolutely.
So the date's set for movie night on October 21st, and we are taking a poll, right?
Correct.
To show the movie.
Yes.
And so several are working on different activities and events. Thank you for putting the graphic up.
Yep.
That'll be part of this event, annual event that we've had now. This will be the 5th.
Is this 5th?
Can
Pretty
I,
exciting.
can I just say something?
Yeah.
This park is right up the road from me. I know nothing about movie night. Like, nobody has said a word to me about this at all.
I think the Parks Committee's been
Okay,
working
go
on
ahead.
it.
I don't listen, that's the other issue, okay? I know nothing, I know why I know nothing about the park, let's just be honest. But I know nothing about what happens at the park. Nobody tells me anything about the park. I saw it on Facebook.
Me too.
I would really, really, really like to know what the court is doing, what the events are. If somebody would send it to me, I would love it. I would love to know before it comes out on Facebook that the whole fiscal court's putting it on and I don't know anything about it. I would really appreciate that.
Okay. Well, it's an annual thing we've done every year, so.
But I'm not this is
Okay.
my first year.
But, yeah,
So
this is
you
a new
need to
court.
remember that 3
I
of us are
understand
brand
that,
new
but
and
this
we
is
don't know
community
anything
event,
about it.
okay? Go ahead, Scotty.
This is one of the events that I think we talked about when we first planned. I think there were 3 or 4 events that were talked about at the very beginning of this court. So you're looking January, February. Honestly, this was thrown together this week by Andrew, and he's done a great job with it. And we had an idea of letting the public pick what they wanted. We're less than 2 months away. So
I think it's awesome.
I'll take the whole, the no communication part, I'll take that. That's my fault because I've been on poor Andrew for a couple weeks and he done a great job getting it together.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I think it's great. I
and-
just hate when I
yeah.
don't know about it and people ask me
To-
about things and I know
Totally my
nothing
fault.
about it.
I'll take that. That's on me and I do apologize. But I will also say that on Friday, October the 20th, there's going to be a golf scramble at Lakeview Park. It's going to be 2 flights. It's going to be golfing for literacy. So that information will be coming out as well. And it's going to be $100 a team, $50 a person.
You just rolling this off the top of your head?
Absolutely, and we cannot wait. We cannot wait.
We're all learning together.
Yeah, to get you signed up for that. And Andrew will be posting that here shortly.
Yeah.
Judge.
Well, I've shared it. I saw it on Facebook and shared it.
I
That's where
shared it
saw
too as soon as I saw it.
That's-
I
me too.
know nothing
As soon
that
as I
comes
saw
out of the
Totally
park.
me.
The
So
park
that's on me.
committee.
I
Nothing.
apologize.
That's the only thing I hate about these committees is I feel like I don't hear anything that comes out of them. Like I feel totally cut off from a lot of what happens. And so I'm not sure how to fix that. Like I just feel like I don't know half of what's going on. And people ask me about it and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I will say, just for me, it's hard to keep up, and
Yeah.
I don't think it's practical for me to reach out to everybody. And I had a meeting last week with Squire Wisman. Anytime you want to come by, we'll have coffee. I'll tell you everything I know. It's just trying to.
If we had a way, sincerely, if we had a better way of just putting things
Is it
out.
on the calendar, the Mitzi updates?
I ran a program that was statewide and I got everything we did out
Yeah.
on Facebook, like just with that group.
Yeah.
There are ways of doing this.
Yeah.
This just does not seem to do it. And you should not have to do it. You have got far too much to do.
Yeah.
So they're just, I don't know, I'll think about it, but there's
Okay.
gotta be a better way of like sharing information.
Well, I thought Mitzi put a calendar
She does.
and made it available to everybody. Now, I don't know, I haven't checked it, so I
Right.
can't say.
There is a calendar of events.
I just know that.
Because even, yeah, there's
But
a
she sent
calendar,
us
she
all
puts
messages
everything
saying,
on, like
"Hey,
if
the calendar's
KSU's
up."
doing a ribbon cutting or something, it's on there, just so everybody's aware of what's going on.
Checked it.
Yeah, I've
So you
looked
might
at that.
check with her.
It's a shared calendar, I've looked at it before, but committee meetings don't go up there, and some things don't make it to that. You know, I've asked several times in the past 7 months, and I think it pertinent to ask again here, could we please just start an email chain that one of the staff can send us notification every week of what committee meetings are going to be happening, what events are happening?
That would
Because
be
again,
awesome.
I learned that the Halloween event yesterday on Facebook as well, and I knew the International Festival was coming, but I hadn't heard the date on that yet. And we do get questions all the time, and I don't feel as informed as I would like to about being able to share things with the public. So I'll echo a valid concern that we need to figure out a better way of communication.
Yeah, and I'm not, it's not a criticism,
Yeah.
I swear it's not. It's just I'm trying to figure out how to stay informed because I'm busy too, like otherwise outside of here. And I'm also a little ADHD, I'm a lot ADHD. And so I'm trying to keep my brain like focused on both things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I don't know how to do that when it's just constantly
So maybe we
moving
can
and I
do
don't
like
know
a
what's going on.
Cliff Notes of the week or something.
It's really, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Some good notes.
There's got to, and I don't mind taking it on myself to try to
Yeah.
figure it out either.
No.
Not at all. I
hate
just
to
feel a
chime in
little
here.
lost.
We've been here long enough, but I feel like sometimes I don't know what's going on either, but I blame it on myself for not being aggressive enough to find out. It's my fault. It's out there. I found out tonight about the Halloween moving out on the 21st. It's okay, still 2 months away, I'm good, you know.
It is, but somebody literally asked me about
But
it and I
it's,
did not know about it. And
I blame
that's not
myself
okay.
more than anybody else for not being aggressive looking, trying to find out. I'm not, I hate to bother the judge or Amy or whatever whenever I know they're busy. But if, maybe it comes down to the point where I need to be more aggressive about it. And that's my fault.
I had more
We'll get
time,
it
I would
figured
do
out.
that.
All right, any other business? All righty. Everybody's ready? We're gonna roll right into the voting session. Clerk, please call roll.
Squire Sebastian.
Here.
Squire Blackburn.
Present.
Squire Dykus.
Here.
Squire Tracy.
Here.
Squire Tanner.
Here.
Squire Wistman.
Present.
Judge Mueller.
Present. Thank you. Authorization for approval of minutes from special meeting of August 7, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization for approval of minutes from regular meeting of August 10th, 2023.
So moved.
As amended, second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Authorization to accept a resolution of the Franklin County Board of Health establishing public health tax rate in the year of 2023 for Franklin County Public Health Taxing District.
I move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve an agreement with the administrative offices of the court and Office of Friend of the Court for access as a government entity to use CourtNet.
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Second reading, approval of ordinance amending ordinance number 391989 series related to the Joint City Planning Commission number of members and establishing a meeting frequency.
Judge.
So, Judge, I'm going to make a motion to remove the following language from agenda item 6. Establish a meeting frequency, and add removal of non-citizen member to that in its place.
Thank you, Squire
Second.
Sebastian. Clerk, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the filing of an application to the Kentucky American Water.
Judge. We just approved the amendment. We need to approve the ordinance
Okay,
Actually, as amended, true.
as amended.
okay. So I'll read it again. Second reading and approval of ordinance amending ordinance number 391989 series related to the Joint City County Planning Commission number of members.
Period.
Huh?
Period.
Yeah, number of members and removal of non-citizen member.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Ordinance passes. Thank you. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the filing of an application to Kentucky American Water Firefighting Support Grant Program for the Franklin County Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution authorizing the receipt of funds from FEMA, Division of Kentucky Energy Management, event number 4702DR-KY for cleanup efforts by the Franklin County Road Department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution relating to the 2023 Franklin County tax rates for real property, aircraft, watercraft, non-commercial, and 2024 tax rates for motor vehicle and watercraft.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve a resolution relating to 2023 Franklin County tax rate for insurance capital and bank deposits to be used for general government.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to reject bid for mow trim, boom mower, and re-advertise.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to award a bid to J. Edinger and Sons in best bidder for a 9-foot dump body and related snow equipment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to advertise for sealed bids for one trommel screener with conveyor.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve board appointment Michael Reed Mills to the Franklin County Planning Commission with a term ending on June 30th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes, and I want to thank him for serving on that board for us. Payment of bills. Is there a motion offered to deny payment of any claims? Claims are ordered to be paid. Authorization to hire Cameron McDonald as a part-time co-op student.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Welcome. Authorization to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're